Guys, this is Claudio Giuliano here, and today I am coming at you with a new review. And today we are going to be reviewing the Adonit Ink Stylus. So this is a brand new stylus by Adonit, which is specifically made for Windows Ink enabled devices. The folks from Adonit sent this over to me. They asked me to check it out. I've been testing it, and I wanted to share it with you guys, and I also wanted to, of course, break it down in depth for you guys. So what we're going to do today, we're going to compare the Adonit Ink with the Surface Pen. We're going to, of course, test the Adonit Ink with the 2017 Surface Pro. So we're going to check out its performance. We'll check out the latency, the pressure. We'll go into the details. We'll talk about which devices the Adonit Ink is compatible with. We'll talk about its hardware, and we'll also compare it to Apple Pencil as well. So let's get into it. Let's check out the Adonit Ink. So Adonit has been in the game for a long time now. They trace back to the early days of the iPad, and they were really one of the first to bring a pressure-sensitive input solution to iOS devices in a time where we had nothing at all. So they've been around for a while. They also did some cool projects with Adobe, with the Ink and Slide. So they've always made really nice hardware. They've always made nice pens. I also use one of their other pens for my iPhone. I think it's called the Pixel, or actually, no, the Snap. So I use the Snap. I really enjoy that. And all around, they've always made really nice hardware. So I think it's cool that Adonit has brought over a pen for Windows machines. Now, I want to talk about compatibility first before we start walking around the hardware. So this pen is going to be compatible, of course, with Windows 10 for Microsoft Surface 3, Pro 4, and the most recent 2017 Surface Pro. So Surface Pro 3, Pro 4, and of course the most recent Surface Pro. This is a rechargeable pen, so you do have to charge it micro USB. You get about 80 hours of battery life. You get the two side switch buttons there, palm rejection, and the pressure sensitivity. If you use it with the 2017 Surface Pro, you're going to get the 4,000 plus pressure levels. If you use it with the older generation stuff, you will get 1024 pressure levels. Now, in terms of compatibility, this should be compatible with the Pro 3 generation of N-Trig, the Pro 4 generation of N-Trig, and of course the most recent. So that means other OEM devices that have those generations of N-Trig built in should be compatible with the ink. They probably have a list of compatible devices on their website. You're going to want to check that out before you pull the trigger on this if you are thinking about the Adonit Ink. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly talk about that and the compatibility, and now we're going to go into the hardware. All right, guys, let's get into the hardware, and then we're going to compare it to some other pens. So you have an aluminum design here. The pen is very lightweight. Now, for me personally, I prefer a pen that has more weight to it, like the Surface Pen or the Apple Pencil. But if you prefer a lighter weight pen, something that is similar to the Wacom's Pro Pen, this is very similar in weight to those. So if you like a lighter weight pen, you're definitely going to like this. Nice ergonomic feel in hand. They know how to make a good pen design. And, metal design, so you'll feel that cold touch. Definitely feels premium. There is your side switch there. So nice placement for the side switch there. You have to hold the button down in order to turn the pen on, and in order for the pen to activate and read, you do have to have it powered on. So the pen doesn't connect through Bluetooth though. You just have to power the pen on, and then you're good to go. You have your micro USB charging port here on the top. You do get a clip as well, and that is the tip design there. Okay, so the tip screws off much like the Apple Pencil tip screws off. has some slight similarities to the Apple Pencil tip, but very different. And also very different in feel when actually working, but it does remind me of the more triangular tip that is included in the Surface Pen Tip Kit. So it does remind me of that. And you can replace this tip if you want. You just screw it right off, just like the pencil, and that's that. So you can replace the tip. So they took a little bit of inspiration there from Apple with the unscrewing of the tip. And all around a very decent design. Very decent design. Nice thickness too. That's kind of what balances out the lightweight, the lightweight feel that it has. They definitely got the barrel design right, so it has nice ergonomics here in hand. All right, guys. So I have the Apple Pencil brought in and the 2017 Surface Pen brought in. So, the biggest difference right off the bat, of course, is the weight. You have a substantial weight to the 2017 Surface Pen. Really nice feel in hand. Really great weight. And this is definitely one of my favorite pens to work with. And the same holds true for Apple Pencil. Apple Pencil has a substantial weight to it, and of course, its signature is the length that it has. Its signature is the length and the very utensil-like design that the Apple Pencil has is a big part of what makes the pencil one of my favorite tools. And very different feel in hand than the Surface Pen, but they have similar weights. Both very ergonomic to work with. And when you pick the Adonit up, it feels, basically air light. And that's why I said earlier, it reminds me of a Wacom pen. And, that lightweight feel might deceive you, but at the same time, when you pick up a Wacom pen and then you start working with it, it still feels great to work with. And that's what you have here with the Adonit pen. Although it is a very light design, it still has the ergonomics to where when you do start working with it, it feels decent in hand. Okay, now for me, I definitely prefer the Surface Pen and the Apple Pencil. I definitely prefer the weight that those have. But if you like a lightweight feel for your pen, I think you will enjoy the Adonit Ink. So let's get started. So the deal with the Adonit Ink is it's only going to work in software that is compatible with the Windows Ink API. In other words, the pen will not work with WinTab. So if you have a software that only works with WinTab, the pen will not register input in that software. So today we are going to test it in Clip Studio Paint, and we're also going to test it for note-taking in the Windows Ink workspace. Now the first thing I want to show you is pressure. So the 4,000 pressure levels is definitely coming through here on the 2017 with the 2017 Surface Pro. The Surface Pen seems to take in a little bit more pressure sensitivity because I usually set the Surface Pen at 11. I have it set to 9 here with the Adonit Ink, but it's definitely bringing in the 4,000 because I have a 1024 pen, and it's a totally different curve. Let me just bring this in here. So very similar. So the Surface Pen probably takes in just a little bit, tad more pressure, but at least 4,000 is coming through there, and I just wanted to show you that. Now, first I want to start with latency. Now, the latency here is not bad. It's not bad, but it's definitely not as fast as the Surface Pen. We're going to bring that in, and I'm going to show you that. But it's definitely not terrible. It's not bad at all. Now, it does slow down when we start getting up toward the bezels. This is where it slows down, but this is common in a variety of different N-trig pens. So it slows down a little bit there, but not bad and nothing I haven't seen before. So the latency is not bad. Let's just check this out really quick. I want to show you the the accuracy in terms of the parallax here. Now, we have a really accurate tip alignment with the Adonit Ink. One of its strong points, because the tip basically has no parallax. If you look there, it's really almost perfectly lining up directly with the tip, and that's another really nice thing about the Adonit. Um, so latency is not bad, but it's not, ultra fast. Uh, it's not ultra low latency like the Surface Pen, and this is what makes the Surface Pen such an awesome uh, tool to work with, for art and illustrating. The Surface Pen has extremely low latency. So if you look at the tip there, what you will see is the cursor is basically like it's sticking to the tip like a magnet. It's so fast. Uh, we have such low latency here that it's very close to real time. That's what makes it such a great experience for art and illustrating and painting, and that's what makes it similar to the Apple Pencil. That's what makes it similar to Wacom's EMR technology. So we have extremely low latency here with the 2017 Surface Pen, and even when you go, in the upper area here, when you go to the sides, you see how quick it is there, how it's instantaneous. Okay, so you know definitely a lot lower latency than the Adonit Ink, but I've seen uh, I've seen way slower. So the Adonit Ink is definitely a worthy competitor, and it's not bad at all. It's not something you can't work with. So that was what I wanted to show you there with the latency. So let's start by putting some strokes down for pencils, and we'll see how it performs for sketching. So right off the bat, the pen tip feel, it has a more slippery feel when you start working. It reminds me of the pen tip that is in the Surface pen tip kit, the one that's more triangular and pointed. Um, so it has a very similar feel to that. So it's definitely more on the slippery side. There is some very slight traction here, but definitely nothing like the tooth that you get with the 2017 Surface Pen. Now, I personally prefer a pen that has more tooth in this, a tip that has more tooth and traction than what you get here. However, if you do like this more kind of loose feel, which can come in handy for stuff like gesture drawing and for keeping things loose. Um, if you prefer that, then you will like the feel of the pen. It has a good feel in hand, and also we have the side switch there. So when I hit the first button down, it'll activate the eraser, and that's nice because sometimes it gets kind of funky when you are in the act of working and then you kind of interrupt your workflow and have to add that layer of switching the pen around. So I always liked having a button close by that I could just quickly hit to access the eraser. So that's nice. And you also have the other button, which you can take advantage of as well. Um, so, uh, I definitely prefer a pen that has more tooth. Not, I mean, a tip that has more tooth, but not bad. As you can see here, pressure is coming through nicely. The other thing I like is the tip has a wide recognition range. So although it does not recognize tilt, you see how I'm coming in on this angle here, and it's recognizing the pen. Uh, I find that the tip has a pretty wide range of recognition, and that is a cool thing. Let's check the initial activation force. So I'm barely putting any pressure down on the pen here, and we are activating. So this is definitely a strong suit of the Adonit Ink. Really good initial activation force, and if you are using one of the older generation pens, the Pro 3 pen or the Pro 4 pen, or if you have one of the older generation devices, this could come in handy for you because it's cheaper than the 2017 Surface Pen, and and I can definitely recommend it over the older pens just based on this initial activation force alone. So that might be something to think about. Now, I'm not saying I recommend it over the 2017 Surface Pen, but it is an option, and we are getting really good initial activation force here. So if you did want to sketch with this pen, you definitely can get a decent sketching experience here. So I have this quick sketch here that I did, and we're going to test some things with ink. We're going to see how the dispersion of pressure is. We're going to see how the stroke accuracy is. So I know diagonal jitter is something that concerns a lot of you guys. Now, for me, it's never been something I run into because I tend to work fast, and I'm never on an instance where I'm drawing slowly on a diagonal line. So, if you were to go as slow as possible, you could see some jitter there or abnormalities, but 9 times out of 10, you'd never really be doing that. And even when you go like a medium speed, you don't really see much going on there. So I would say the jitter is not bad unless you're going like ultra slow. So let's put a couple lines down and see what we got going here. So that's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool feel. Since we're getting that really nice initial activation force, as you can see there in the results of the strokes, you see how there's no abnormalities in the strokes there. We're just getting a really accurate result in the dispersion from ultra thin to thick. And it carries all the way through, and that's really nice. And as you can see, what I'm doing down here, just really barely putting any pressure down, we can get those really, we could get the fine precision strokes here. So that is nice. This is actually not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, if you ink or paint or whatever that may be, if you did want to, use it for art some of the time, you definitely could get a decent experience here with the Adonit Ink. And I think what kind of brings that forth is the initial activation force that the pen has. And you will get a working experience in Photoshop as well, since the pen is set up for the Ink API. So again, you won't get tilt or anything like that, but the pen does work in Photoshop as well. I just wanted to quickly show you that. So let's check it out for note taking. We're just going to jot something quick down here. We're in the Windows Ink workspace. This engine in here is pretty similar to the engine that you would get in OneNote. So let's check this out. Let's jot something down quickly here. Not bad. Not bad for note taking. So if you are someone who's going to be jotting down quick notes, you'll get a very decent experience here with the Adonit Ink. So there is another positive. Now, of course, it's the same deal. It has to be something that is compatible with Windows Ink. So, uh, so for the experience to register, it's got to be something that is working with Windows Ink. So you still have to keep that in mind. Now, as what we just wrote over there is a true statement. So YouTube has implemented a new policy and a new way of doing things going forward because of that video. You know the one. So what that means is channels like mine that are just starting to rise and grow, that's going to downrank the channel with these new implementations and the new policy. And I have a lot of stuff on the way, a lot of stuff that's already done and coming, a lot of stuff that is in progress here. And what's going to happen is it's going to downrank the channel. It's going to be harder for you guys to see the upcoming content that we have coming. So so they have implemented a new minimum where partners have to have 1,000 subs minimum, and you have to have, I think, 4,000 minutes of watch time. Now we have like 30 times that of watch time, and we're almost there on the 1,000 subs. If you guys can help me bring in uh, the extra subscribers to reach that minimum by the 20th, this will be a huge help. So if you are new and you're just tuning in today, it would be awesome if you subscribe, because I have a lot of stuff coming, and I think you'll really enjoy the content that's coming in the future for the channel. And of course, everyone who already has subscribed and who is subscribing daily, I want to thank you. I see all the subscribers coming in every day. This is great. We're almost there anyway. So if we can get it there before the 20th, this would be awesome. Now, the cool thing about this channel is, you know, we cover the tools for the creative professional, and then also we have lessons and we break things down for teaching, and there is so many different things coming. And the great thing is you're getting this from someone who is a working professional, someone who has the background credentials and the background project credentials to give you unique insight and unique knowledge that you might not find elsewhere. So if you do subscribe, I think you'll enjoy the content that's coming, because we haven't really even touched on so much stuff that I have coming for you guys. Also, we're going to be doing giveaways here. I used to, for years I did my giveaway on Instagram. It's become a lot harder to reach my core audience on Instagram because of their algorithms. So we are really moving a lot of the stuff that I used to do there here. And so we definitely have giveaways coming. So I want you to stay tuned for the giveaways. And if you guys can help me out, and if we can pull this off, it will be fantastic. So, guys, that's really going to wrap up the review of the Adonit Ink. I'm glad Adonit reached out to me. I'm glad that they sent this over and asked me to check it out, because I think it's great that they're making a pen for the Windows platform. And I think this opens up a lot of potential for them to make even better stuff in the future. So with the Adonit Ink, I feel that it's a more general purpose pen, not specifically for art, not specifically for note-taking, kind of in the middle. But it's definitely a nice experience. And as you saw in today's demos, it definitely has really nice qualities. So, would I choose this over the 2017 Surface Pen for art making? I wouldn't. I wouldn't choose it over the 2017 Surface Pen for art for various reasons. This pen here just is really kind of more laser focused for the artist, with the tilt functionality built in, with the tooth that you get, the high, the super low latency. So I just find it to all around be a better art tool. So I wouldn't recommend it over the 2017 Surface Pen. I wouldn't choose it over that, but I would recommend it over the older generation Surface Pens, and I would also add this to being an added experience. In other words, after seeing how well it does initial activation, uh, you know, I would definitely not mind having this as an added experience, and kind of floating back and forth from each, because it definitely has a lot of good features. In the future, I think it would be awesome if Adonit makes a more art focused pen, and and I think if they do that, they could bring something really great over for artists specifically. And either way, it's great that Adonit is making pens for the Windows platform, and I think we're going to see cool things from them in the future here. So definitely a positive. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. As usual, if you can share the video with your friends, if you can like, comment, subscribe, that would be awesome. A lot more coming. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.